Yesterday I was working on an alternative to the way the gravity zone was working, which the way I was doing it was via logic for, how do I put this? I made a little component that you would attach to actors that you wanted to have gravity working on them. And so it was kind of like a bottom up implementation. And the new method that I'm trying out here is top down. So the gravity zones themselves are responsible for enforcing and applying gravity, and they are also responsible for determining priority and things like that. So at the end of the day, we actually had that working, and it has some benefits. One of the benefits is that aside from character, there's not really many special cases. So I don't have to add things to objects anymore. It's just if I set them up right, they get the alternative gravity. Another benefit is that because it's generically applicable, we kind of get ragdoll support by default. So kill this guy, and we get him floating there with ragdoll physics enabled. And then I spent probably too long trying to make the gun also do that. Oops. Which is another kind of benefit of the way it's hard to get out of here because I'm bouncing between two zones. It's kind of a benefit of the way I implemented this is that also the gun has separate gravity as well. So now we can just walk up behind this dude and shoot him a bunch of times. And we could shoot his gun, shoot him into the zone, shoot his gun into the zone, and they both get tossed around by the alternating gravity zones with ragdoll physics enabled. So they just hit there, and got one, shot him off the edge. We're also frame of reference shifting for the player, although I have some notes here. I want to figure out how to do this without changing the view direction. So like rather than entering the gravity zone and having it flip me the opposite direction each time, I want it to like flip on the player's x-axis, if that makes sense. So like we would rotate like kind of clockwise or counterclockwise on the screen while keeping our view direction in the same place. So that's something we got to figure out. But it all works. It's all top down, which is nice. And I have this list of things to fix and add. So the first thing we're going to do is the last feature of the gravity zones, which is the moving zones plus frame of reference shifting. So to do that, we need to make some slight changes to our cube zone, which currently has a gravity direction. We're not going to use that anymore. Instead, we're going to get our root up vector times -1, flip it, and that's going to be our direction. And this will just control our magnitude. Because we need this for proof of concept for moving gravity zones, right? Because this is going to need to like flip and such. So save that, save it. Next, let's go ahead and open up our gravity platform. And let's delete this and let's add, let's rename this to gravity zone box simple. Parent it to the floor here, go to the viewport. That should be good enough, I think. All right, so the first thing that we want to do is just see what happens with that. Let's go on the platform. All right, so far so good. And the problem, of course, being that if we jump, we lose context on the zone and fall out of it. But I think that's actually easier to solve. So one other nice thing is that all our logic is centralized in this gravity zone class, which is going to need a little bit of cleanup, but okay, so our gravity zone component should track its movement each frame. We want to keep track of current position, previous position, current rotation, previous rotation, current velocity, previous velocity, and acceleration per frame. Position, previous, rotation, previous, velocity, previous, acceleration, delta time. We already have delta time. No. Delete this. Current position, previous position. Stop. Why are you doing that? Delete. No. Previous rotation. Rotation. This will give us the angular acceleration, or it should. Here and here. Current velocity, previous velocity, delta seconds, zone acceleration. We would also like to track Angular acceleration. And acceleration. Acceleration. All right, so let's see. This is applying gravity per tick. Begin play. We need to set up our defaults. I guess for velocity, acceleration, etc., we don't need to set. Only the things that are derived from the model. Yeah, location. Yeah, rotation. Looks good. Yeah, 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 yeah. Current position, current rotation. Current position, current. Okay, so on the event tick. Sequence. Set current position. Current rotation. Date, component, relative, motion values. Update zone, relative motion values. Location, world location, rotation, rotation. Okay. So our use case for the velocity and acceleration values should be scaled to the delta times, so I think need to divide by it. We will just be applying it to relative motion to objects. The zones frame of reference, zone moves. Current position minus previous position. Set. Current velocity equals minus previous position, current position, previous velocity, previous rotation, current rotation. Okay. Current angular velocity. Angular velocity. Previous angular velocity. Angular acceleration. Alright, I think that sets everything we would be interested in knowing as a part of this logic. And now we have to set all the previous values to the currents. Previous position, previous velocity, previous rotation, previous angular velocity. I think that's it. So ignoring the angular stuff for now. Let's clean this up a bit. All right, update the current position, update the current rotation, update the current velocity. And I'm actually, just for clarity, gonna do current position like this. Just for clarity's sake. We're actually going to do that for all these calculations so that it's abundantly clear what we are doing. Okay, current angular velocity, previous rotation, current rotation. Let's do it like this. Actually do it like this. All right, now I think this is applying linear damping. I think we can actually just, for these objects, add the acceleration. I think. And then for the player movement, if we're falling, we add a delta location, which is going to be current velocity. All right, let's try it. It sort of works. Sort of works. Let's try a chamfer cube. Again, it sort of works. It had a little bit of acceleration when if I add the velocity instead of the acceleration. Nope, can't do that. Let's go ahead and grab this cube and move it onto the platform by default. And this should be the frame acceleration. Hmm. Plus times. Should we be like trying to guesstimate a frame ahead? I think maybe we need to guesstimate a frame ahead. That might actually be the issue here. No. Oh my god, Teddy. Quiet. Jesus, dude. It's not that big of a deal. Wait. Jumping. So what if when we jump we applied the velocity to the jump? You know what I'm saying? I'm just curious. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Does that work? Because there is an impart angular velocity function there. No. Alright, it doesn't work. try something else. Because this is only part of the equation. So what if we get vector brake rotator brake rot into axis. Works fine. Now let's go back to what we had before. Teleport, yes. Oh, you know what? I fucked up. I didn't have this plugged in. So I didn't get to see any of my experiments with the rotator. Okay. Right. Damn it. Don't think that's it either. Let's just go back to pure velocity. Or maybe we could multiply this by a tiny amount. Um, okay, that moves forwards. Let me try something. Um, ew. See if our cube still falls off. Hey, Daddy. What's up, dude? If I flip this to a -1, what happens? Just to make sure that we're calculating it in the right order. I think we are, but I get rid of all of this. And do some attachment experiments. Okay, that's not it. Yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Yeah? All right. Just a sec. I'm gonna go groom my dog. Okay, that doesn't work. All right, well, I'm gonna go groom my dog. You want to try one more thing? No, no, no. Hey, that's fucking closer. Not exact, not perfect, probably because of the rotational angular velocity not being taken into account. But I think I know how to calculate that. I think that's part of the problem with our calculations right now. So yeah, I'm gonna come back a little bit later today and do some more. I need to go groom my dog while she's asleep because she is a terror. And I will be back later. See ya.